Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I've got this Moto E13 budget phone, which here in the UK only cost $89.99, so a really cheap price for what seems to be a good phone, which we'll find out in the rest of this video. But anyway, just wanted to do a quick unboxing of this first. So we got the phone here sitting on top. Let's push this back. We've got the usual paperwork, we've got the SIM ejector tool, we've got the 3-pin wall plug, and then USB-C charging cable. Peel this off. Nothing beats a fresh phone, does it? It's got this nice kind of matte, hazy look on the back. This is in the creamy white color. We just have a quick look around the phone itself. Dolby Atmos printed on the top. Speaker and charging port at the bottom. We just boot it up. There's the Hello Moto logo. So I'm going to set this up and then we'll get into the review. So for the design and build quality, this phone is quite lightweight. It feels good in the hand, doesn't feel too big. It's made out of a PMMA, which is polymethyl methacrylate plastic, and I have to say it doesn't feel as premium as metal, glass, or materials along those lines, but still it feels good. So around the back we got the camera and the flash, and like I said earlier, it's in this creamy white. Can hear what kind of texture it is. I mean, it doesn't feel too bad. It doesn't feel like the cheap plastic. On the top we got the headphone jack, which is good to have, and on the bottom, microphone, charging port, and the speaker right hand side. This phone also has a front facing camera, and it has IP52 water repellent design, although not waterproof, but I guess it'd be okay out in the rain. So moving on to the cameras, this phone has a rear camera which is 13 megapixel and has phase detection autofocus with FHD and HD recording up to 30 frames per second. It has portrait, photo, panorama, and it uses artificial intelligence, which has things like auto smile capture and things like that. So I'm just going to do a test here and take a snap of this. I mean, this is one part which I feel like is a bit lacking on this phone. It does okay with just general photo taking, not that I would use it for professional use anyway, but I feel like the colors are a bit washed out. There's not much contrast in the pictures, and I'll just show you an example here of what you get in the settings, and then I'll just do a video recording and I'll just swap out this camera that I'm using, what I'll normally use, to give you an idea of what the difference is. So this is footage from the Moto E13 and also audio quality from the mic, so you can get an idea of how that sounds. As you can see, the video itself has a loss of detail. Looks like the colors are a bit washed out, and regarding autofocus, it's not too bad when it figures out what it's looking at, but then struggles are there a little bit. And I also noticed when it comes to movement, you can see there's this kind of like artifact in distortion going on, so I wasn't too sure what that was about. I'll throw in some pictures here that you can see. So that's with normal photo. This was portrait. This was just a picture outside, and here's some footage recorded at FHD outside. So moving on to performance, this phone is rocking a UNISOC T606 processor, which is a octa-core CPU and is on a 12nm process. The same chip can be found in the Samsung Galaxy A03, which was released in 2021, and the phone itself in this case has a 64GB built-in storage and has 2GB of RAM. I'll just do an example of running Call of Duty Mobile here, just so we can get an idea. We can see that the graphics are limited to only low, so we don't have the higher options, and that's obviously because of the GPU restrictions. But from my experience, it was more than good enough. I didn't notice any frame rates dropping, gameplay was smooth, and I was still able to have an enjoyable experience. Moving around, the UI generally was absolutely fine. Just takes a few seconds to load apps, but nothing that's drastic. So I ran the Slingshot Extreme test on the 3D Mark app, so we can just get an idea of the score and performance. So if we just have a look at that quickly, because the overall score was 950, frame rate varied from quite low, so 2 frames to 58. Obviously we're not expecting anything drastic here considering this is an entry-level processor, but still done fairly alright. And just jumping into apps, multitasking, and considering it has 2GB of RAM, it's not going to be really holding the heavy apps in memory. But for an entry-level phone, I think it's more than adequate, does the job. Like I said, it just takes maybe 1 or 2 seconds with a few apps just to load them up. We can just see here passcode. Moving on to display, this phone is rocking a 6.5-inch LCD HD Plus panel at 60Hz with a PPI of 269, and it has a 20:9 aspect ratio. If we just head over to settings to look at the additional features we have and customization we can do. So if we head over to colors, we can see we can pick from natural or saturated, and then you have the options of changing color temperature, so going warmer or cooler. I personally prefer the cooler side of things, so I'm just going to leave it over here. And then we also have this video display enhancement, which just makes the colors more vivid in videos that are supported in the apps listed there. If we look at the display here compared to my iPhone 12 Pro Max, we get an idea of how tall the display is, and we can see that it's a bit narrower than the iPhone. And here was just a quick comparison between the iPhone and the Moto E13, so the iPhone's on the bottom and the Motorola's on top. Just gives you an idea of the differences between a high-end phone and this entry-level phone. I'm playing some footage here, just some 4K video, even though the phone doesn't support that. Looking at the viewing angles, not too bad. They lose a bit of brightness when you're looking at it from an extreme angle. But overall, picture quality is really good. It's sharp for a 720p screen. So moving on to audio, I just thought I'd do a speaker test comparing it with my iPhone 12 Pro Max, just so we can have an idea of the difference, but you can check it out. Moving on to battery life, this phone's rocking a 5000 mAh battery, and I charged it fully yesterday, so it's been over 24 hours now that I've been using it, and I would say I'd use medium use of it, playing games, obviously using it for testing and stuff like that, and it's only come down to halfway, which is really good. And I think I would easily get 2 full days out of this with medium use, I would say. Obviously if you're using it a lot heavier, then it's going to drain faster, but generally been pleased with it so far. And then there's different functionalities built into the phone to help save or conserve battery life. You have adaptive battery here, which limits the battery life use on each app, or we have the standard battery saver, little things that help, and obviously the battery percentage indicator. For connectivity, we have obviously the USB-C port on the bottom of the phone and the headphone jack on the top, and then other connections on the phone are Bluetooth 5.0, which is your standard Bluetooth, so nothing special there. And then for the SIM cards, we have a dual SIM tray with a space for a micro SD card, and the SIM trays for 2 nano SIMs. So that's useful if you're wanting to use 2 SIMs at the same time. And for Wi-Fi, we have 802.11 at 2.4 GHz plus 5 GHz, and also has Wi-Fi hotspot. Software wise, the phone is running Android 13 Go edition, which is aimed at entry-level / budget smartphones. Android Go was originally released in 2018 and was specifically made for budget phones in order to allow faster and more efficient performance. It helped with smaller app sizes, included enhanced security and privacy features, and was customizable to meet specific market needs, for instance India, where entry-level phones are very popular. But generally, software running on the phone has been absolutely fine. This stripped down version of Android really helps with the efficiency of the phone and performance, allowing it to feel snappy, loading apps quickly amongst other things. So really good interface regarding that. In conclusion, I think this phone is really good value for money, considering how much it costs and what you get. I think the balance between those two things is really good, in the sense of you get a phone with a very good performance capabilities, a really nice large front screen, a really big 5000 milliamp hour battery, which like I said can last nearly up to 2 days, and amongst other things, useful things, it has shown to be a solid phone for the entry-level market. And if you're looking for something that can get the job done without having to break the bank, I would definitely look into purchasing something like this. Thank you for watching, guys. Please leave a like button, as it helps the channel massively, and if you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.